The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod and we're coming to you live from the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. This is the home for Autism Live. It is also the home for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. We're thrilled to be here with you on this Thursday morning. We have not been here for a couple of Thursdays in a row, but we're back today and we're back with a vengeance. We've got a killer show for you today. And the reason why we've been away for a couple of weeks is because we have been preparing. There's been a lot of preparing, good preparing that's happening for an event that's happening a week from yesterday. So we're in the final week of preparation for, it's called Corey's Autism Angels. It's a very special Facebook Live event. It is going to be happening here on Autism Live, specifically on Autism Live's Facebook page. And it is going to be hosted by the fabulous Corey Feldman and his wonderful wife, Corey Feldman. They have decided that they want to do something for autism, and so they're going to do a 4-hour telethon. It's, I believe, the first of its kind. That it's a Facebook Live event that's a telethon, sort of like a modern day telethon using technology, so it'll be on Facebook Live. And Corey and Courtney have a bunch of their celebrity friends that are going to be here performing. We've had celebrities sending in messages. And all of it is to raise money for ACT Today. ACT Today, as you know, stands for Autism Care and Treatment Today. It's an organization that is very, very near and dear to my heart. My good friend Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson, who co-hosts Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy with me, she's the executive director of the organization, and I am a board member of ACT Today. And what ACT Today does, it is a 501c3. It is a charity, a national charity here in the United States that gives grants to families for the things that families ask for. There's such a wide variety of things that individuals on the autism spectrum and their families need. And there are many organizations that grant things to families or give grants to families, but usually they are on a very specific thing. Like maybe they give grants for swimming lessons, or maybe they give grants for iPads, or, you know, whatever it is. The great thing about ACT Today is that it doesn't specify. Families can write in. They have 4 different grant seasons a year where they write in, and there's a very lengthy process that they have to fill out information, and they have to give a copy of their diagnosis. So it's nothing that anybody can take advantage of, is what I'm trying to say to you. It's a very stringent process. And then a committee of people, one of which is me, sits down and pours through the hundreds and hundreds of requests from families and try to figure out how best to disseminate the money that ACT Today has been given. Well, there's never enough money, folks. Let me just tell you, it is heart-wrenching because there is never enough money to give to all the families who so richly deserve and need the things that they have written and asked for. And it takes time to write in and ask, and then you have to have your paperwork together, and it's overwhelming for a family who's on the autism spectrum. So I hate it when we don't have enough money to give to everybody who so desperately needs it and richly deserves it. And there is never even close to enough money. So Corey and Courtney said, what can we do? Let's do a telethon. They're very excited about it. If you missed the interview that they did with Nancy yesterday, I encourage you to check it out. Both Corey and Courtney are very motivated to be helpful, and this was a way that they thought that they could, and we certainly hope that you're going to be a part of it and help to raise a lot of money. That's happening next Wednesday. It starts at 12 noon, and it will go for 4 hours. Now, that noon is Pacific time. So for those of you on the East Coast, it's going to be starting at 3 p.m. and go until 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then for everybody in any other time zone, I know that you're much better at doing the math than I am. So Samantha's showing you where you'll need to go to watch it, facebook.com/Autism Live, and it should be interesting. It will be live. There will be performances. If I wasn't gray already, I would have gone gray. This is exciting. This is beyond exciting because it marries together a bunch of things that are very near and dear to my heart. Being able to do live production where anything can happen, bringing together celebrities for a really good cause, and raising money is the biggest thing about this, to be able to give that to the families for the things that they need, because I know firsthand how amazing it is when you're able to do something for your child that is beneficial to your child. So wide variety of programming that Autism Care and Treatment today has. People ask for everything from swimming lessons to help with their co-pays. It's endless, the different things. Safety is a huge thing. We're going to be talking about that a lot. So I hope you'll participate. I hope that you'll tune in. I hope you'll share it on your social media and let your friends know. There is no donation that's too small. The truth of the matter is if everybody gave $1, we'd be able to make a huge difference for a lot of families. So there is, and by the way, this is, Samantha's so on top of it. If you want to make a donation and you don't want to wait until the event, it is open now. You can make a donation at any point. If you go to act-today.org, on the very front, there's a Corey's Angel, and it's a logo. It says Corey's Autism Angels, and there is a donate button, and you can put it there and click on it. It takes PayPal, it takes all major credit cards, and as I said, there is no amount that is too small. So I hope that you guys will find it in your hearts. You always feel better when you give, honestly. You can have the worst day in the world, but if you're giving to somebody else, it makes a huge difference. Okay, now let's talk about today, because we're going to be with you live for the next 2 hours, and I've got some amazing guests that are lined up for us here. If I can get into my iPad, yes, I can. So we love it when you guys interact with us, whether it's now, whether it's later on today, whether it's during that live Corey's Autism Angels event. There are lots of different ways that you can communicate with us, and Samantha's going to show you some of the different ways that you can. I'm going to remind you that our homepage is autism-live.com. And when you go, there are lots of things to do. One of the things I like about that homepage is that when you ask questions, you can do it completely anonymously. So you'll see that there is a computer screen there. If you click on the triangle, it'll play either the live show or the most recently recorded live show. But to the side of all that is what we call the live feature. It's a series of white boxes. If you just put your cursor in the one that says your question, all you have to do is type and hit enter. It shows up here on my screen when I'm here. I have to be here to get it. But you and I can have a conversation in almost real time. There's about a 2-minute, 3-minute delay. Depends on where in the world you are, I guess, how long the delay is. And it protects your private information. When you're on Facebook, you know, everybody knows who asked the question, right? YouTube, it's your username, but this is completely anonymous, and sometimes that's a real benefit. By the way, all of these things are free. There is no cost. There is no credit card, there's no login, there's no username, because I got too many things that I have to remember. I don't expect you guys to remember a username and password. It's all available because we want to be able to get good information to you. I do like to remind you at the start of the show that we have a lot of experts who are on the show. We're going to have a bunch of experts on today. I'm not one of them. My role in this is that I'm an autism parent, and I'm a former educator. I guess former, always an educator, right? Once you're a parent, you're an educator. Whether you studied it or not, you become an educator. But I'm passionate about learning. I want to keep learning until the day that I'm done here on this planet. And I love being exposed to new things. And I'm an autism parent who has had the benefit of getting good information at the right time, which made all the difference. My son was treated at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and I got my child back. And I'm so passionate about CARD and the Center for Autism and Related Disorders because they were my pathway. And I know they're coming to where you are at some point. They're in more than 140 locations now, and they're coming to more locations. But I do want to point out, because I never want to be disingenuous about this, that what CARD did for us was ABA. I do believe that they have a very particular kind of ABA, and that if you have the opportunity to get that, take advantage of it. But I do want to remind you that there are really good quality ABA providers all over the world, in not enough places yet, but they're coming to you, and that it's important that if you have especially a young child who's on the autism spectrum, that you get them intensive ABA. We're going to talk more about that in a minute, but that's essential, right? But and it doesn't matter what your child's ability level is. All children with an autism spectrum diagnosis, whether it's high functioning or whether they're greatly impacted, need and deserve to get good quality ABA services. And then a lot of times people think, oh, well, my child is 7, so we didn't do it, we missed the boat, it's not going to be of benefit to us. That isn't true. The fact of the matter is that ABA is good for Olympic athletes use the principles of ABA. So there is no age when you age out of being, I know that politicians will tell you differently and insurance companies will tell you differently, and I will call you know what on that. But there is no age in which you age out of learning. And ABA is the single greatest teaching tool, science has proven that we have on this planet. So get some ABA and get good quality ABA. But in any case, I was saying, I'm not an expert, but I'm a parent who feels very passionately and an educator who feels very passionately. But don't mistake me for being an expert, but do mistake me for being somebody who cares and wants to help you to get to the progress that you deserve. It's all different. Everybody's outcome is different, but for each and every person, being able to learn is a fact. It is a reality, and we deserve to be able to have access to that for ourselves and for our loved ones. And I want to say too, welcome to the show, whether you are a parent, a teacher, a practitioner, a person who is on the autism spectrum yourself, a politician. We are all here to learn. That is what this is about, okay? So, enough said. I always like to say, we hold hands, we do this together. Si se puede, right? Okay, it is time for what we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one of those nasty words, phrases, or acronyms that the experts will talk to us about. Once we start using the word autism in conjunction with somebody in our family, they just go, let's throw a bunch of jargon at you. That'll help you because you're not underslept and overwhelmed already. Let's speak another language that you can't even look up and understand. So what we do, we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We first give you the actual definition because we learn from that. We learn about how bad actual definitions are, and I make fun of them. Then we give you a working definition, which makes some of the experts break out into hives. We don't care. Well, it's not that we don't care. We're forging ahead because we have to have a way to access these things. So, all right, today's term, it's a oldie but a goodie, 3-term contingency. Doesn't it sound like the amount of time that somebody can serve in the Senate? No, that's not what it is. So let's take a look at what our actual definition is. Everybody take a deep breath. It's a good one. The 3-term contingency in operant conditioning refers to stimulus control. In particular, an antecedent contingency called the discriminative stimulus, SD, that influences the strengthening or weakening of behavior through such consequences as reinforcement or punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a round of applause for an absolutely useless, if you don't already know what these terms mean, it's just rearranging the words. Oh, it's a contingency. I know what a contingency means, but I don't know what the 3-term contingency is, and I'm no closer for looking at this definition. Maybe people who are smarter than me can. That's okay. So let's move on to our working definition to figure out what this is. This, my friends, is the keys to the kingdom. The 3-term contingency is the ABCs of behavior. The 3 terms are A, antecedent, B, behavior, and C, consequence. All right. Still no closer to understanding what that is, but I'm telling you, if you can get your head wrapped around this, your whole world will change. I'm talking about rocking your whole world here. Okay, so every behavior that happens within a 3-term contingency. The ABCs, and all you have to remember is ABC. A stands for antecedent. It's what happened before the behavior. B stands for the behavior, and for every behavior, there is a C, a consequence. The example that I always like to use is, and we do this all the time, everyone is engaged in 3-term contingencies. You and I are doing it right now. Everything that we do. So imagine you're sitting in your house, and this is the example I always like to use because we all do this, regardless of culture or whatever. I guess that's not true. Some people use candlelight still, but most people have electric lights now. And at some point every day, it starts to get dark outside, and you get up at some point and turn on a light. And then you go back to what it was you were doing. So 3-term contingency, what's the antecedent? It gets dark. And so that's a circumstance. Something happened. It got too dark in the room for you to be able to accomplish what you wanted to do. The behavior is you get up and you flick the light switch, and the consequence is that light flooded the room and things got easier for you. Now, let me ask you something. Since the consequence was something that helped you, do you think you're more likely to do this every day or less likely to do this? Because the truth of the matter is that everything that we do over and over and over again, a behavior that we do time and time again, generally, the consequence is something that has at least some desirable outcome for us. So when you think about people who smoke, somebody is sitting at their desk in their office right now, something happens, an antecedent happens. Now it could be for somebody that they're addicted to nicotine, and so there's a signal in the brain that says, you haven't had any, and it pokes you, and that's the antecedent, and you decide, okay, I'm going to go and have a cigarette. Now there is a consequence for that, and those of us who don't smoke might go, well, yeah, the consequence is that you get sick, or that you smell, or that people give you a dirty look, right? That's what we're thinking of the consequence, but let's think about the person who's actually doing it. What consequence do they get? Sometimes the consequence that they get, I know people that's the only time that they take a deep breath is when they inhale with a cigarette. And you know what? Taking a deep breath feels good. And if we all stopped and did more of that more often, it would be a good thing, right? But so that might be the thing that is making sure that this happens. For other people, it can be that the nicotine addiction gets quieted down and then they feel more calm. For other people, it may wake them up. For other people, it's social. When I go outside and stand and have a cigarette, I get to take a break and talk to the people who work in my office. Or maybe I get to talk to the cute guy that's standing over there. But there is a consequence. And whatever the consequence is, if we keep doing it, it means that it's a consequence that overrides other things, like the fact that, I have a bad taste in my mouth, or I smell, or somebody gives me a dirty look. It's still more reinforcing that I got to stand there with the cute guy. So when we start to notice how we behave in the ABCs of behavior, then we can start to notice how other people behave within the ABCs of behavior. And we always think that we have control over behavior. We don't. This is just a huge fallacy. For every mom who's ever stood there and said, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that, and then said, I might as well beat my head against the wall, because we don't have a whole lot of control over the behavior. And we see lots of strife in the world, and strife with police trying to gain control of people because they're trying to control a behavior, and that's hard. It's almost impossible to control a behavior. However, we have control over antecedents almost always, and we can take control over antecedents, and we have ultimate control over consequences. So when we start to play with these variables, if we know, okay, my child's having a tantrum, that's the behavior. If we start to look at it and go, what happened before the tantrum? Oh, I asked him to do something and he didn't want to do that. Okay, what happened after the behavior? I gave him milk and cookies. Well, is that behavior more likely to happen or less likely to happen in the future? If the individual likes milk and cookies, it's going to happen more often. If they don't like milk and cookies, maybe it won't, right? Now, a lot of times people go, oh, well, consequence, it's all about punish, punish, punish. But the truth of the matter is that when the consequence for not doing something is a reward, that accomplishes more. So we're going to talk more about that, because punishment is not the key to this. Changing the antecedent and making other behavior more rewarding, that's the key. But this is where the 3-term contingency comes in. And honestly, if you can get your head wrapped around this, I'm telling you, your life will be happier, your relationships will be better. And if you love somebody who's on the autism spectrum, it will help them to build skills in a way that nothing else ever has. 3-term contingency, it's our jargon of the day. All right, moving on, because I'm really, really late. And we got a guest that's coming up in just a few minutes. We always have a question of the day for you, and our question today: what are you looking forward to? This is a difficult time of year right now for everyone. Something is ending and something is beginning. And transitions, we think that they're just hard for people who are on the autism spectrum. That's not true. It's hard for all of us. And you might be thinking to yourself, I'm not going through a transition right now. I work a 9-to-5 job, and it's not, but still the seasons are changing, the light change, the produce that's in the market is changing, the everything, the structure of your traffic, everything is changing right now. And when we're going through transition, one of the best ways to deal with some of the agita that comes up from it is to ask yourself, what are you looking forward to? And to place your thoughts and your mindfulness on, if you don't have anything to look forward to, what could I look forward to? We all need to be growing, and we all need to have hope. So what are you looking forward to? I am looking forward to so many things this summer. And one of the things is that my son and I are going to be doing a little bit of touring and going around to different locations together and doing some speaking together. And I'm so looking forward to that. We're going to keep you guys posted about that, because hopefully maybe there'll be an opportunity for us to be able to meet you as well. But what are you looking forward to? We want to know. Write into us on Facebook or any of the other sites right now. I got to hurry because we're running low. I took so much time on the 3-term contingency. We always have a topic for the week, and really the topic for our day on Thursday. And our topic today is hope, because hope is everything, you guys. Hope is everything. And if you're not feeling hopeful today, I'm glad you're here, because I've got some extra for you. It's important to be hopeful. Hope doesn't mean that you don't recognize what isn't working. Hope doesn't mean that you walk around with the rose-colored glasses, or that you pass gas and rainbows come out, right? That's not what hope is. Hope is about the feeling inside of knowing that there is more than what you can see right now, and that things are constantly moving and changing. And that when we get into a positive mind frame about it, because we have lots of choices every moment about what we're thinking about and what we're focusing on. And when we focus on hope, it gets easier. There's a lot that we have to do that's hard, and we don't need to make it any harder. Don't let people take hope away from you. And if you need your cup of hope filled, come on down. I got some hope for you. That's what we're doing today. Okay, so what we got coming up for you, we're going to be joined in just a second by Randall Allen, and he is coming to us from Hope So Bright. How's that for fitting our theme? Then we've got special education attorney Bonnie Yates, who's going to be joining us a little bit later on in this hour. And then in the next hour, we have a really wonderful young woman who has created a thing called Jazz Hands. She's going to be talking about a performance they're doing. I don't want to slaughter her name. Ifu Nanya Nowicki. And she's from Jazz Hands, and she's amazing, and she's going to be with us in the second hour. And then we have some mindfulness, hopefully, and autism in the classroom. All of that and ever so much more. So stick with us. We're going to be right back with Randall Allen from Hope So Bright. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Johansson, and this is My Little House.
My Little House is an interactive, multi-sensory educational felt toy that I invented. to help develop children's language skills.
I love my little house.
I've been working as a speech therapist for over 20 years. I have spent my entire career working with young children. I work with children with language delays, and I have many children with significant cognitive disabilities and children on the autism spectrum. It has been a constant challenge finding toys that are fun, educational, and actually engage my students. In every preschool since I've been a young therapist, we carry on these felt boards. Kids love them because they're soft and they're fluffy, and there's usually these little pieces that attach to these boards because felt sticks onto felt. You bring them into the activity because they're putting a piece on the board. So it's almost kind of like magic. So then I just thought, wouldn't it be great if I could just take this one-dimensional board and make it into an actual three-dimensional toy? How cool would that be?
That's the idea behind My Little House. You can spread it out flat like a 4-panel felt board, or here's the cool part. In the blink of an eye, My Little House easily converts into a 3-dimensional reversible house.
This is the outside. This is the inside.
My Little House comes with 36 felt cutout pieces that match outlines in 8 colorful rooms. And they're felt, so they stick. Each piece inside My Little House has been placed with purpose.
For instance, in the kitchen, whole half, under on top, inside, big, bigger, and biggest, empty and full, circle, triangle, inside, outside.
Really cool thing, I have a nonprofit, Lecotech. They are the folks that put out the Differently Abled Guide for Toys R Us. They've been doing it for 25 years. They gave me their seal of approval as a toy that they feel is a toy with purpose, and that will make a difference. But My Little House isn't just for kids on the spectrum or with significant disorders. It's also for typically developing 2 to 5-year-olds. It's a fun toy.
Oh, this is so soft. That piece goes.
Recently, I took My Little House to the American Speech and Hearing Association convention in Philadelphia, and the response from my peers was overwhelming. Hundreds of therapists, teachers, and heads of school districts wanted to order them.
It was real validation for me that this truly is a toy that needs to get out there.
Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod. I'm a proud autism mom, I'm a former educator, and I am the host of Autism Live. And as all 3 of those things, I want to recommend to you My Little House. This is one of the smartest toys I have ever seen for teaching language to kids who have emerging language. Whether they're on the autism spectrum or completely neurotypical, it's a great, fun, reinforcing toy, but it's especially great for our kids that are on the autism spectrum because it makes learning fun and it makes it tactile. They have these felt shapes and they get to match them up. And I'm telling you, even the adults love to play with this. We loved this toy so much that we wanted to be able to bring it to you at a great discount. So right now, if you will go to www.smartfelttoys, and when you get to the coupon code, put in a-live.com, you'll get $5 off. Isn't that great? So I want to encourage you, go and get My Little House for all the kiddos in your life. Welcome back to Autism Live. I just want to point out that My Little House, I absolutely love it, and I'm so excited and thrilled to be partnering with them to be able to get you guys a discount on that. So check that out. I can't tell you, I've had it in my office and grown people come in and want to sit and play with it. Samantha and I have had meetings where all of a sudden we found that we were playing with the dollhouse. It's super duper fabulous. So definitely get one for the kid in your life. I absolutely love it. But right now via Skype, we are joined by Randall Allen, and he is the head of events and PR for a wonderful organization called Hope So Bright. Randall, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Hello, of course. Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled to have you here. So tell our viewers, what is Hope So Bright?
Hope So Bright is a nonprofit organization where we actually care to individuals who live with ADHD and autism and other children that may come from disadvantaged situations. And we provide but like micro grants to educational programs that'll benefit those children in public school systems.
Wonderful. And so you're based here in Los Angeles?
We are based here in Los Angeles. We reach out on a much larger level throughout the country.
Fabulous. And you guys have a really cool event coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
We do. It's actually our third event that we've done so far. It's a 5K ADHD and Autism Hero Walk and Run. Our first one was in 2016 in San Diego. We had another one this year in March in Long Beach, California. We have one coming up on June 10th, so if you're in the area, definitely come to Hermosa Beach, California. And we will be having that right there on the pier, starting at 7:30 in the morning. And then we have another one. If you can't make that one, we're returning to San Diego on October 8th, which we're very excited about. Pretty much this is an event, it's going to be full. It's perfect for the family. It's going to have a kids zone, some music, some live entertainment, mini expos with all your ADHD autism resources. It really is a beautiful day on the beach, we hope, as always. It's sunny California. And, everyone should definitely come out, for sure.
Okay, and it's on June 10th?
Yes, the one in Hermosa Beach is June 10th, San Diego, October 8th. We'd love to offer everyone a special coupon discount at AL123. Again, that's AL123. Definitely, please come out and see us. We'd love to see you all there.
Okay, so what's the website that they need to go to, Randall, to be able to register?
You can go to hopesobright.org to register directly on this site and learn much more about our company and what we're doing, for sure.
Okay, and so you can participate by walking in or running in the run. And we just were showing a picture that a lot of times people are coming to your events and wearing capes and things like that because it's a hero walk. Do you have to dress up or you don't have to?
You don't have to. Everyone is more than welcome to come. Not everybody has to walk or run either. You can definitely come in and just, explore the resources and what kind of activities we have going on. But feel free to dress up your superhero. We love that. We love all having fun. Who doesn't love to dress up? So yeah, please feel free. If you don't want to, just come to support the cause.
And so if you go to hopesobright.org, you can register there, and then you've given us a coupon code so that they can get a discount when they go there. So when you go to the site and you're registering, then you would put in the code AL123. And do we tell them what discount that gives them?
Yes, we're going to give them $5 off of their participation.
Okay, so spectacular thing to be able to do. It's coming up on June 10th. And people, I love that people can come and appreciate what's happening and watch. But if they do want to participate in the run, and I just want to say, or the walk, what a great thing to do with your family. We all need to be getting more exercise and to be getting out, and these are the perfect kinds of events to be able to take our kids to, because everybody's a little bit more understanding at these kinds of events. And then that money will be used for some of the programs that you were talking about. Remind them, Randall, what kinds of things that money goes to.
Exactly. We always look for educational programs that benefit children who may come from disadvantaged backgrounds, who don't have the regular opportunity to get the professional education that they can receive. I will say that as Hope So Bright, we believe in ABA and therapeutic treatment. We don't technically, we definitely don't support pharmaceutical advances. And we want to see, the education and ABA definitely progress further, for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody, again, I'm going to go over it one more time because we went through it really quickly. hopesobright.org. That's where you want to go to register for either the event that's happening on June 10th, or when is the one that's in October in San Diego?
San Diego is October 8th.
October 8th. And again, will the code work for both of those events, Randall?
I will set it up and it won't expire until after the two events are over.
Okay, and so your code is AL123. We salute you guys. You're doing a great job, and we hope that you have a wonderful event.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Randall.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that is Hope So Bright. Thank you so much. And there you see another picture of I love the idea of wearing the superhero capes, and it makes it fun for our kids. And anytime you can get your kid out and be participating in something and where they feel a part of the whole, it's a really important thing to do. And if you can be helping somebody else while you're doing it, boy, you're hitting it on all pistons. What a great thing to do. June 10th, hopesabright.org. Don't forget the coupon code AL123. All right, we are going to take a break and we're going to be back with more Autism Live after these messages.
This is the Act Today, One Hope Act Today for Military Families Run and Festival, and it's to benefit military families challenged by autism. So we're out here for a great day. Not only is there a 10K run, a 5K run, and a 1 mile fun run, there's a kids run and there's an Easter egg hunt. Military families are particularly hard hit because they have very special circumstances.
I have 3 kids in my family. My nephew has 3 children that are all on the spectrum. And for me, it originally became about understanding and learning about autism. And then it became about, what can I do to help? It takes $3 million to raise a child through their lifetime with autism. That's a great reason to get involved.
On your mark, get set.
One Hope Wine is the 7th annual title sponsor of the One Hope Act Today for military families because we believe that giving back is good business. Of-age runners are probably going to meander over to the One Hope and Stone Beer and Wine Garden for a celebratory glass. For the younger generation, the Family Fun Zone.
This is a big thing for us because it's about getting more treatment to more people, raising awareness. It's a really good event. We're proud to be a part of it for 7 years now, and we're a local office, so we wanted to be here.
Stroller Warriors is a free running club for military spouses and their families. A lot of us are impacted by autism, so it's just a great way for us to get together and raise some money and bring attention to this important cause.
I think people forget the people element involved with autism. The families that are suffering, the children that are suffering.
Society could be robbed of so much untapped potential, talent, and skills if we're not helping the children of these military families as much as any other children out there. Not just those suffering with autism, but those struggling.
People should get together and tell their friends and family to donate to Act Today. It's a really important cause, one that's close to our heart and the San Diego community as a whole, and an incredible opportunity to support the military. So get out there and donate.
Welcome back. We haven't had time in the last couple of weeks to address autism in the classroom, but this is one of my core things that I'm interested in talking about this entire year. I always try to have a theme for 2000, for whatever year it is. In 2017, it's autism in the classroom. That we're trying to give you more information about what works in the classroom. As a former educator, this is really important to me. As a mother, it's central to me, and as a human being on this planet, I recognize how important it is that if we don't take care of and educate everyone, we're going to be in deep doo-doo, and we don't want to be in deep doo-doo. So we want to be as productive as we can, and autism is a reality in the classroom. So today's Autism in the Classroom discussion is about when we have idle hands. We were just talking earlier about how this is a particular time of year where things can get a little bumpy. If you are experiencing the fact that your kids are coming home from school and they're a little bit squirrelier than they normally are, it's not your imagination. For any teachers that are watching, I want to say to you, I know it's the end of the year, it's close to the end, and it's the time of year when you've got a lot of paperwork that you have to get done, and you have to get things down off the walls in your classroom, and the kids are done, you're done, it's warm outside, and everybody is feeling like maybe we should be doing less in the classroom. Well, okay, but the problem is that so often people kind of give up, and we tend to watch a lot of movies and think that maybe that's a good way to spend time towards the end of the year. But the truth of the matter is, and most teachers will attest to this, that when you give students nothing to do, then you're going to create a vacuum in which a vacuum has to be filled, and you're going to get behaviors. Because as much as we rail against and we don't want to have this very regimented, schedule, the truth of the matter is that when we get too far off schedule, we don't really know what to do. It's okay to color a little outside the lines, but it's important to do it in a way that's productive. So if you want to disrupt the schedule a little bit, let's talk about some things that would be beneficial. If you're going to show movies in the classroom, show movies and give them an assignment to go with the movie. For instance, let's say you show a Disney movie, but you say to them before it's over, now look, I'm going to be asking you guys to pair up into 2s or 3s or 4s, whatever is productive for whatever age, and then I'm going to ask you to write a scene that comes after the movie for those characters. And it's like 2 minutes. You give them an assignment so it has them thinking while they're watching their movie, and there's a follow-up that comes afterwards. It's active, and we want to keep our kids active. If it doesn't have to be movies that you can do. This is a great time to pull out all the educational games that you can possibly think of. And there are endless games. I really want to encourage teachers to go to Pinterest and look up games to play in the classroom, educational games to play in the classroom, and you're going to find so many different things. And if you can't make it work into the classroom, this is a great time to take them outside. Before it gets too hot earlier in the day, take them outside and work on something outside the classroom. If you're working on science, send them on a scavenger hunt in the play yard to find, these 5 things and classify them, whatever your lesson is. But, make it be something that's active. Let's not get into passive learning. Now, for parents whose teachers have not gotten this memo, if you've got a kiddo who's come home and they are squirrely, because they have not had their minds and their bodies kept active enough during school, it's so super duper important. They're going to come home and they're going to say, I want a break. And everything in their body language is going to suggest, I want a break. It's really important now, while the weather is good, to get out and make them do some form of exercise after school to shake off whatever they didn't do in school. So, if you have a pool or you have a community pool, get them in the pool if it's warm enough. Get them walking, get them running around a track, get them planting flowers, but something where they've got to be pushing and pulling, because those are those big major muscles that will help release some of that tension. Otherwise, you're going to get some behavior. This is a transition time. It's difficult for kids. Let them work it out through their bodies. And you'll find that you'll have more productive students and happier kids at home. All right, we are out of time for Autism in the Classroom. We'll be back next week with more of that. But first, right now, we want to take a break, and then we're going to be back with Bonnie Yates, special education attorney. Stick with us.
The pain of comparison. Yes, I know it well. It is never fun to compare your child with other children because that's not easy when your child has a difference, such as being on the autism spectrum. And if you have a child with autism, we have the joy of comparing our child not only to neurotypical children, but also to other children with autism. You have to remember that your child is your child. We love them because they're our children, and their job is to be a child, and our job is just to parent and love them and help them as much as we can. When we hear about some child doing something that our child isn't doing yet or may not do in the long run, it's pretty difficult. And I can tell you, milestones are a hard one. The graduations, the birthday parties, you have to remember you can get through this. One of the best ways to do it, fun. You have to have a group of safe people that you can go to, hang out, that love your child, do something fun together. One of the best solutions is to kind of think about where we are then. Maybe it's time to kind of look at a different situation or a different intervention. So you might look at a different school, you might look at something you've never tried before to be a therapy or a biomedical intervention for your child. Also, disability has always been seen as a form of wisdom in some of the world's great faiths and religions and philosophies. They have a lot to teach us. Our children are beautiful people. They affect people different ways, and they show us really what human nature is all about. So when you feel that pain of comparison, just know that your child is a special person. And I'm sitting here to tell you, there are children out there, girls and boys, young adults, older adults, who do things that people never thought they would do. They're going to surprise you. You will have those moments. So be assured that your time is coming to be that one that everyone's happy for.
What is autism? What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
I've been asking myself that for a very, very long time.
Let me think about that one.
Trying to,
Jeez. Let me think. Oh man, that's a rough one. Yes.
Autism,
Autism is a neurological disorder that affects many of our kids in different ways.
It's a learning disability that affects the cognitive functions of the brain.
A lot of people have the misconception that it's a disability, and it's really not.
I look at it as like a special gift.
When one person thinks differently from another.
It's an opportunity for everyone to learn to understand someone that's a little different than them. Autism is the ability to educate.
They're given so much talent in different areas.
To me, autism means a chance to be with and be around people you really care about. Autism is beautiful.
It's a way of seeing the world differently.
It's always unique, totally intelligent, and sometimes mysterious.
Happiness that comes out of my son's hard work.
It's a movement.
Unpredictable.
That's right.
Awesome.
Love.
The field I want to work in.
Laughter, fun, joy. Autism is beautiful to me.
I want you to remember these three words. There is hope.
Welcome back to Autism Live. I know you guys have been mourning the fact that the last 2 weeks while we weren't doing Thursday shows, it meant that you didn't get to have your weekly dose of Bonnie Yates, who is amazing. Bonnie is joining us right now via Skype, and she is a truly awesome special education attorney and a wonderful mom, and we're thrilled to have her here. So Bonnie, thank you for being patient with us on our 2 week off, and thrilled to have you back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back because we have a lot of good stuff to talk about.
We do.
So the first thing we have to talk about is May Madness. Right?
Should we give the disclaimer first, Bonnie?
We're going to give the disclaimer. The disclaimer is all the questions are answered in a general way only. If you have a specific problem, please consult a lawyer in your own state. And I want to say that somebody back east wrote me. I think they're in Illinois, and they asked an Illinois-type question and asked me whether I could answer it. And I was able to refer them to COPA.net, COPAA.net, so they could find a lawyer to talk to in their own state. The COPA lawyers are very generous, and they will generally, return your call and talk to you for a while and try to give you at least some guidance, if not actually, agree to represent you. So that was good. So yeah, you got to get your own lawyer in your own state if you have a specific question. We'll try to answer all your general ones. I'm licensed in California and in front of the federal court, so that's the, basis of my training. That's where my answers come from. What else was there?
We also want to say that you are with the law offices of Jian Chao, and that's an amazing law office. You are not coming to us from the law office today, lest someone think that this is what the conference room of Jian Chao has changed to. It's very fun, funky art, but not quite what Jian Chao, the artwork that they have. And how do they get a hold of Jian Chao?
Jian Chao's conference room is very stately, so
yes.
It's not at Jian Chao. Jian Chao can be reached either on the internet. You can Google them, HIRJI and CHAU, or our phone number, if you want to call and talk to us, is 310-391-0330. And we have been getting some calls from Autism Live people, so that's kind of cool.
Yes.
Anyway.
Can I say the website too? Because the website is lawyer4children.com. Lawyer4children, and it's the number 4.com. Because we want to thank them and thank you. So I'll let you take it away because you've got a bunch of questions there.
Yeah, no, I'm on a roll today. It's May Madness, and some of you will know what I mean by that. It means this is the busiest month of the year. All of the IEPs are happening before school shuts down. Parents are realizing they have big issues and they don't have a plan, and everybody is just running as fast as they can till the wee hours of the, or the late, let's just say till 10 p.m. So I've got my caution tape shirt on. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like the same color as what you see those guys that work in the streets wear, so cars don't hit them. So my that's my husband in the background. I may have to shut the door. So my thought is that this month you all have to really proceed with caution if you're going to your IEP meetings, because we know that, bad stuff can happen and does happen. And so I'm at home today hiding because it's just been so absolutely busy, crazy. But I want to remind everybody that you definitely, keep your eyes open this month. It's May Madness.
Yes.
Anyway, the first question was from somebody that said the district wouldn't write that her child had a diagnosis of autism in her IEP. And it's a good question because generally, really, eligibility isn't supposed to determine what services you get. Goals are supposed to determine what services you get. But I would strongly, submit that if you have an autism diagnosis and it's written into your IEP, you're kind of automatically going to be, presumptively eligible for behavior services, speech and language services, and occupational therapy. So if she's got a diagnosis of autism and they won't write it into her IEP, she basically has to have an IEP meeting and she has to discuss what tests were done, what the test results were, and why the district should adopt the autism eligibility. And if they won't, then she's got to go to due process and see if she can convince them along the way. And she's going to need, the person that wrote the report to be her expert to explain why this is the appropriate designation and not, developmental delay or something like that. So that's, I think, the answer with respect to autism.
Can I ask a question about that, though, Bonnie? So, because in this particular case, what the mom wrote in and said that they listed it as language something else, and that this was the way their form is rewritten, and they were really poo-pooing her concerns about autism not being there. And I imagine as a parent, I would be like, this is a sticking point for me, and what I'm hearing from you is that legally it should be a sticking point.
Well, according to IDEA, you could have, it's IDEA is supposed to address, unique needs, not a label. But I'm just saying in practice, it doesn't work out that way. You got to have an autism diagnosis to be able to insist that you need intensive services. And, I don't know exactly what their computer-driven form does, but there's nothing in IDEA that says, follow what the computer-driven form tells you must do.
Right,
so,
right.
That's just kind of something that technology has imposed upon us. And, she should fight. She should fight for that eligibility.
Okay,
great. And she's going to have to go to due process to do it. It'll probably settle at mediation, but she's going to have to go through the exercise.
Okay, great.
Next question. We've gotten a few questions about, I want to write comments into my IEP. The district says I don't have any right to write comments into my IEP. And I was looking at somebody's IEP yesterday from a case that I'm filing for due process in. And before she and I were working together in 2015, she attached comments to the end of her IEP. And she put in the final sentence of the comments, this IEP isn't a complete and valid document unless this page is attached to it. And she went through and she very systematically said, I don't agree with your position on this, and here's why. I don't agree with your position on this, here's why. This is what you should do instead to offer FAPE. It was a very well-written letter. And so the answer is, the IEP forms generally have small areas on the IEP where you can write little comments, but if you have a lot to say and you want to make sure that it's captured in the IEP, I would recommend you do exactly what Rosemary did, and that is to add a page of information. And what you can use the consent page for is to indicate that there is this other page out there and it needs to be attached to the IEP. So, your IEP signature page has a list of who attended that particular day of the meeting, and then below that you can either completely consent, partially consent, or not consent at all. And assuming you're going to partially consent because you want the services to be implemented, but you don't think the district's offered you a free appropriate public education, I make a bunch of asterisks and I write see attached IEP response, so that there's no way that won't have to be included. And they can't tell you can't do it. That's a denial of parental participation.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Great advice. Thrilling.
So, please feel free to enumerate all your concerns and don't allow yourself to be circumscribed by a tiny box on a form. Next one I love, because I've been thinking about individualized transition plans a lot this week because it's part of the student's due process. And I know a lot of parents that are listening to Autism Live maybe have younger kids, but not exclusively. So the question is, my school has not done my son's individualized transition plan and he's 16. What does that mean and what do I do? Well, first of all, the law says it has to be in your IEP by age 16. Has to. And the way you would address that would be in a due process hearing. You would, have that be an allegation. Or if you weren't ready for due process, you could make a complaint to the California Department of Education, and you could, or your state education agency, and say there's no, ITP in place and my daughter is 16. Now, the ITP is a huge issue. We're probably going to have a whole show on it because what people don't understand is that you do have to have an individualized transition plan in your IEP, and it does need to be in place by age 16. And the other thing is it has to have teeth. And that's where the rubber hits the road, because if you look at these, the district is generally using a template. They're not, even going through the motions of individualizing it. They're not doing the assessments they're supposed to be doing to figure out what the predicate steps are for this person who's supposed to assume responsibility for his education at 18 and his life at, that point in many respects as well. And the thing that's so interesting about it is, the ITP is buried in the back of the IEP. And oftentimes I've gone to IEP meetings where, they weren't even planning to have any discussion about it. And if you look at the ML versus Mercer Island case, which we haven't really talked about yet, but it's a case that sets forth the standard for IDEA progress in the Ninth Circuit, which is my circuit. It also talks about how in 1997, there were a lot of amendments made to IDEA. And at that time, the focus in IDEA shifted from access to the classroom to adult independence. And this case talks about how the whole purpose of IDEA is to prepare you to either work or go to college when you reach 18. And everything in your education is supposed to be preparing you for those steps. And so that means that, you can't just tell a family, well, all we care about is academics. You have to care about the things that make the person employable and independent too. So the ITP is very important. The districts never do them properly. And I'm on a personal mission now to force districts to reform IEPs, ITPs, and this book that you're getting, or this little booklet online that Shannon's going to post about how to do the ITP is very interesting because it suggests who to invite, what questions to ask, and what assessments are needed, and that if people want to, they can invite the Department of Rehab. And at the very end, it says it may even make sense to have a separate IEP just to develop the transition plan. Now, this is going to make districts mad because they don't want to have multiple IEPs. But as my client said when I mentioned this to her, this document, this little plan, this 2-page plan is about the rest of your life. And so it's very, very important to actually deal with the ITP. That's probably enough for now, but you can take a look at the disability rights book, and you'll see it's really, really important.
And we're going to have Samantha put that up on the screen right now. It's kind of long, and I think that we'll also share it on Facebook, but there it is right there. For anybody who's interested, the goodie that Bonnie is talking about that talks about how to be able to do the ITP, that is how you would find it. And we'll also, hopefully later on today, we'll post it on our Facebook page as well, a link to it. But I think for a lot of people, quite honestly, Bonnie, I think we do need to do a whole show on the ITP, the individual transition plan, because my son's about to be 14, and I didn't hear about an ITP until somebody was talking about it on the show maybe 2 years ago. And I like to think that I'm a fairly informed person. And I was like, what? There's a what? And I know when I have brought it up in the past with my old school district, they were like, oh, that happens when he's 16. And everything I'm hearing is that it needs to be done by their 16. So
law says, yeah.
So my thing is, why are the school? Because this seems like something we should be aware of when our kids are much younger. I think that every person who has a 3-year-old needs to know that comes later on, so that we can be thinking about that.
Right.
Anyway, so let's do a show on it.
My general message to people, and don't shoot the messenger, is age 18 does come, and it's very difficult, and there's a lot of things that need to be done. And so it's easier just to hang out in the 3s, 4s, 7s, and 10s. But, there's a lot of planning that needs to be done for adulthood. And we don't really have a post-22 IDEA program for adults, and that's a huge issue. So enough about that for now. I don't want to depress people. It's a beautiful spring day.
It is.
Okay, so next question was, my child is not meeting his or her goals. What does this mean, and what can I do about it? Well, if your child is not meeting his or her goals, it means that they are not making progress. And if they're not making progress, then there is a violation. And if they are not meeting their goals, there needs to be an IEP meeting to discuss why they aren't meeting their goals and what to do about it. Now, typically what I see happen is somebody's not meeting their goals, district isn't paying attention, or maybe they are and they're too busy. But either way, what ends up happening is they're bringing this up at the IEP when the person has already lost a lot of time. If somebody's not making progress on goals, that should be apparent to the educators, and they should be convening an IEP team meeting, in 8 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever, after the start of school, or whenever it's practical. But if you're not meeting your IEP goals, or if the same goals are being carried over from year to year, or if, I think her question said that they were claiming that the child could meet their goals, but the child wasn't meeting their goals, what to do. So if the person is not able to meet their goals, you need someone who's a professional to be able to articulate that for you at the IEP team meeting. So you're going to need somebody to, assess your kid and come address the IEP team meeting. And as far as the goals go, the first thing to do is look at the baselines. Can they even do the thing in the baseline? My case that I'm filing for due process on this week, the client had a very good observation. She said, there's no way the goals could be appropriate because he was in home hospital for a whole, 9 months or something, and that's the only information they have from which to write the goals. Well, the home hospital was a mess. He got an hour a week education only, and it was never really work. It was always just like the teacher would come over and chit chat with him. So her point was there's no way the goals can be correct because they're not predicated on any information really. So if your child cannot meet the goals that the district says they can meet, you have to do a wholesale attack on that and probably go back a couple years and look and see, how much they've moved in 2 years, because sometimes they haven't moved at all. So I think that's the answer to that.
Okay.
Okay, next question. Is it really true that the district is responsible for education and the regional center is responsible for social? And the answer to that is it depends. Because under 3, you're in an IDEA program, and it's administered in California by the regional center, but it's an IDEA program. And at that point, I think that IDEA is, not the district yet, but IDEA is responsible for everything. Now, when you get to school and the district is saying we have no responsibility for social, the reason I want to start talking about transition with you is because if you don't have any social skills, you're not going to be able to, meet your IDEA vocational goals as an adult. So that's just, hockey puck. I mean, that's just something districts say because they can and parents don't know better. And it's really, really inappropriate for districts to say they have no responsibility for anything but academics. Okay, over 3, if you qualify for regional center services, you do have a right to a large array of services with a maximization standard, and they are certainly responsible for social. But you can be in a situation, and you probably should be, over 3, if you're in public elementary school or middle school or high school, where there's kind of overlapping responsibility with maybe regional center being primary on social, but the district having to address social issues too because of transition. So I don't know if that's clear enough, but the idea that the districts are off the hook for, anything except for just, the 3 R's is not true. Okay. Now, somebody asks, is there such a thing as a secret IEP book that districts have that they use when they do the IEPs? And I guess by extension, the answer is how could we get one? Yes, they have books, and I think they have policies and procedures. The books are like goal banks, from what I understand. I don't know whether they have written policies and procedures or they're too lawyered up and they're taught these things, but they're not, written down anywhere. If they were to be written down anywhere, then what you can do is you can make a public records request. Anybody can do that. There's probably a disability rights publication on how to do that. There's a lot of stuff on the internet about public records requests. And you can ask for their, material that's pertinent to, the development of an IEP at an IEP meeting. And they probably won't like it and they'll fight with you on it, but you might ultimately get something. So the answer is, yeah, I'm sure there's secret IEP books. And even if there aren't secret IEP books, things are said all the time that are not true, and they kind of, trickle down to the people that are, in the IEP meetings, and then those things get repeated, and they acquire kind of the status of being correct, and they're not. So yesterday's little goodie in this department was the agency who is providing service is told that they're providing service at school. They're told they cannot talk to the family directly. They're told that they can only talk to the family at an IEP meeting or a meeting at which the district is present. And I said, well, that's a lot of hooey because that's a denial of parental participation. You can't do an ABA program and not talk to the parent, and you can't only talk to the parent once a year at an IEP meeting. So, there's a lot of misinformation that's disseminated. And I've represented some parents that are also teachers, and it's funny because sometimes, they have also been kind of brainwashed, like they're actually think that some of the stuff they've been told is true. So I guess the answer to the question is, keep your eyes open because, things are said like we can't put that into the IEP because Welligent, won't let us, or, you gotta challenge those things. You gotta be listening for those things and challenge those things because they're not correct.
Can I tell you, Bonnie, that once a couple of years ago, I love to Google things, and I Googled IEPs in Southern California, and I don't know what information I put in, but I found a PowerPoint presentation that was done. There is a school district here, and when we're done, I'll tell you which one, and you probably can guess. There's a school district here where the person who is in charge of the student support services does very well at winning their cases for IEPs. And so she went on a speaking thing where she would go around and speak to other districts about how they should run their IEPs and what they should cave in on and what they shouldn't cave in on. And she had the PowerPoint presentation online.
Nice.
And you could read the whole thing. And I found it very informative as a parent because I will say this, it was very reasonable that it said, here are the reasons why we would settle this case, and here are the reasons why, and it gave specific examples, and I found it very informative.
Yeah, we got to circulate that. How do I get that?
Let me see if I can find it again. It was a couple of years ago, and it was, let's see if it's still online, but I know where to look to find it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to sort of wrap up here, somebody also wrote in and said, what is the difference between a dependent and independent charter school? And I turned to my colleague, Rosa Hirji, who is one of the experts in the United States on not only discipline, but also charter schools. And she explained to me that dependent charter schools have a contract with the district that kind of they were formed in or, were initiated by. And independent charter schools have a contract with the state educational agency. So that's the difference between independent and dependent. And interestingly, here in Los Angeles, looking at the paper this morning, LA Unified now has a pro-charter majority on the school board. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with all of that.
It will be very interesting. Well, this has been amazing. As always, you are fantastic. We will be putting the goodie up online, and I'm going to see if I can find that PowerPoint for all of us. But Bonnie, we thank you so much, and we want to say again, here Jian Chao, and the website is lawyer4children.com. Should I give the phone number?
Sure, we can give the phone number.
And that's yes?
391-0330, and we love to hear from you guys. It really is nice, the comments that we're getting from you.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. This has been such a great thing, and we are deeply appreciative to you and to hear Jian Chao.
I'm glad we're back, and everybody have a good week.
Yay, you too. All right, thank you so much, Bonnie.
Okay.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to be back. We believe that we're going to be talking about jazz hands next. So Ifu Nanye Nwiki will be joining us. Hopefully I said her name right. She can take me to task if I didn't, to talk about jazz hands. Stick with us.
What would you do if your child was hurting?
If your family's future was uncertain.
If help seemed out of reach.
Have you been given no hope?
Taka means I am not alone in this.
This is the reality for families affected by autism. And today, the number of children with autism is growing more rapidly than ever. Taka unites these families and ensures that they do not have to fight this battle alone.
Our oldest son, Jared, who has autism, when we first took him to the doctor to get the diagnosis, you know, it's so sad because they offer you nothing. There's no help, there's no hope.
One of the things that you learn with autism is being very grateful for even the small milestones. You know, when you first get the diagnosis, you go through all the range of emotions. You know, this can't be happening. Why is this happening? You have to get to a point where it's the emotion that has to be leading is, what can I do? The first thing that struck me was walking to a room and seeing, oh my gosh, we're not alone. And there is this very strong community that's already set. And something I still today associate with TACA the most is hope. To me, that's what TACA means. TACA means hope.
It's like you've got all these dreams and goals of what your son's going to do, and you get your diagnosis and you're sent home. And that's it. There's no plan of action. There's no, here's autism, here's what we're going to do to make your life better and help him. It's strictly go home and try to process it and go on the internet. It was devastating, and you just, you know, you go through this 3-week of depression and then you snap out of it. You have to. And then you start making phone calls and trying to figure out what is autism and what are we going to do. And then we found TACA, and it was life-changing.
Autism, there really is no definitive answer. It is trying to find the resources that are out there that can assist you to help your child so that, you know, you just don't feel so helpless at those particular moments.
There was direction, and there was hope, and there was a little ray of sunshine that he's going to be okay, and we're going to be okay. I always look back and think we would never be where we are. Carson wouldn't be where he is at without TACA.
So 13 years ago, my son was diagnosed with autism, and that put our whole family into a tailspin. There were so many different ideas and things that were not proven. Nobody knew what guidance to give us. We had no direction. And then we found TACA. They helped give us a path to follow, help give our son a better future and make him healthy and put him back onto the road of recovery. When your son's first diagnosed, the first thing you hope for is, gosh, I just want my son to speak. I just want to be able to communicate with him in some way. Then you want a little more. You want him to go to a regular school. Then you want him to potentially have a real life and go to college. So you're always hoping for the future of your child. My son is a happy, healthy, vibrant young boy that's going to turn 15 really soon, and we couldn't be more pleased. And without TACA, I don't think we'd be in the place that we are today. We believe the future is not defined for many affected by autism. There is hope and direction for these kids and their families. TACA is dedicated to providing community, support, education, and hope to families affected by autism.
At TACA?
At TACA.
At TACA.
We are families with autism helping.
Helping.
Helping families. Helping families with autism.
Hi, my name is Matt. I am 19 years old, and I was diagnosed with autism when I was 6 years old. Autism is one of the fastest growing developmental disabilities in the United States, but I am living proof that with the right treatment, hope is possible. My future is not limited. Today, I am attending Fullerton Community College, and I run for the cross-country team for fun with my friends. It makes me feel proud when I think about my progress. Chances are you know someone affected by autism. Show them they are not alone, and help others get on the road to recovery. Contribute to Talk About Curing Autism today.
It's every parent's desire for their child to have a great start in life. Yet there is a condition affecting more children's lives than pediatric cancer, diabetes, and AIDS combined. Autism strikes 1 in every 150 children.
Today, 1 in 110 kids in the U.S. will be diagnosed with autism. That is a huge jump from 30 years ago when it was 1 in 30,000.
Startling new report finds the number of children with autism is skyrocketing.
The Centers for Disease Control estimates 1 in 68 children has a form of autism. Now, that's a 30% increase in just 2 years.
Well, a lot of this has been all the accomplishments over the last 20 years. I'm thrilled.
I think what kept me was the feeling that, you know, I would have a parent come to my office late at night at UCLA and just fall apart. And this is a long time ago, and there were much less back then in terms of services and knowledge and so on. And I would just sit with the family and the parents and walk them through and try to take away some of their fears, you know. And at that point I realized, I think the thing that's actually most important to me is that process. I mean, thank God that I've been very, very lucky and blessed to have so many incredible clinicians join me along the way and just develop CARD in such an amazing, magnificent way. That I could, you know, for me it was more really about how can I help the families? What can I do for the moms, the dads, you know? It is just, and I feel like, you know, there's no way I would ever really know because I haven't had my own child go through this, but I've experienced it with people a lot of times.
Hi, this is Megan. I'm in first grade all by myself. My teachers are so fabulous. I like to read books. I like to go to my friends' birthday parties. I like to invite my friends to my birthday parties. I once had a sleepover with a friend. I like to have play dates with my friend. I'm the best reader in my class. I like to go to the library. I like to read different series of books. And here's how I learned to do all these things. By my card friends and Dr. Grandpichet. Thank you, card friends and Dr. Grandpichet.
Welcome back. I'm so excited because this is your second time on the show.
Yes.
Ifu Nanya. Did I get it right? Nwiki.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful name, and so I hate messing it up. And you are the brilliant person who created Jazz Hands.
Thank you.
And we're thrilled to have you here. We want to start by talking about the fact that Jazz Hands has a performance that's coming up this week.
Yes, we actually
So
do, yes.
let's talk about that, and then we can backtrack and talk about what Jazz Hands is and all that. But tell them, what is the event, where is it, and how can they get there, all that.
Okay, great. So the event is our 7th concert. 7 is a lucky number. You want to be there. It's our 7th concert. It's going to be in Eagle Rock. It's going to be at the GLAD Auditorium. We partnered with the Greater Los Angeles Agency on Deafness, and we're having our concert at their auditorium. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. It's sponsored by Hubert's Lemonade, Q Bake Shop, the Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council. So we've kind of like planted ourselves in Eagle Rock. So we hope to see you there. For more information, you can visit our website, which is www.jazzhandsforautism.org. Or you can go straight to the events splash page, which is jhcs7.splashthat.com. And you can RSVP there. We do want everyone to RSVP, so please make sure you do RSVP. If that link is a little bit too complicated, just visit our website. It's the first thing you'll see when you visit. There's a pop-up. Hey, RSVP for our concert.
Is there a cost for the concert?
No, so it's a free concert. Of course, we have a suggested donation. We are a nonprofit, but it's a free concert. So a very, very fun Saturday of good music, good food, and good people. And we're going to have about, I think, 11 musicians with autism, all different genres, all different abilities, and it's going to be really great. We have everything from like a video game piano player to a DJ to a pop singer. I mean, we to a rock band. So we're going to have kind of all everything that you like, we will have there at the concert.
And again, it's this Saturday, which
it's on May 27th, so it's not this Saturday.
It's not this Saturday. Okay.
So yes.
I don't know. I was thinking it was this Saturday, the 27th.
Yes, the 27th.
And what time again?
From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, the website to go to
is www.jazzhandsforautism.org. That's jazz hands, two hands. So J-A-Z, two hands. JAZZHANDSFORAUTISM.org.
Okay, fabulous.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk about what all Jazz Hands does and how it came to be, and why this became a passion of yours, one of many passions that you have. So stick with us. More after these messages.
This is Logan Shepard. At first glance, he looks like a typical American teenager. He plays in a band, loves hanging out with his friends, he doesn't like doing homework, and he's not really fond of broccoli. But Logan Shepard is not your typical 14-year-old. Logan was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. He was nonverbal, made no eye contact, and his parents were told to abandon all hope. Instead, his parents began an intensive intervention treatment. At its center was a quality ABA program known as the CARD method. This is Logan Shepard now.
All I really want to say is, like, I'm kind of copying Martin Luther King. I kind of have a dream, like, that one day, like, I can just, like, inspire people and never give up. Because, like, that's what I want to do in life. Because if I can succeed, they can succeed. And I will succeed.
To follow Logan's musical journey, visit www.facebook.com/officialdrummerrock or @drummerrock on Instagram. For more information on the CARD method, visit www.centerforautism.com or call 800-345-CARD. Rock on, Logan.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We are here live in the studio with Ifunanya.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, twice in a row, I got it. Nowicki, and as I said before, she is the brilliant mastermind behind a wonderful organization called Jazz Hands.
Yes.
And so tell the folks at home what Jazz Hands is and how it got started.
Okay, so Jazz Hands, what we refer to ourselves as, is a talent advocacy group. And essentially what that means is that we advocate for the talents of those we serve, and those we serve are musicians with autism. Our job is to help them find jobs and to help them take their passion and their love for music and help make it into a career where they're making money and becoming contributing members of society through that. Because you know how they say if you work a day in your life, you never have to work. It's kind of like that. So if they're doing what they love to do, it doesn't feel like work, you know. So our goal is to really help them take what they already love and use that to kind of forge a path for themselves. And we got started. Ruben was the inspiration. A lot of people know Ruben. If you know Ruben, you love Ruben because he's just so cool. And so we got started because I came across Ruben and I just saw how music was his wheelhouse, how music was his thing, how when he was in his musical essence, he was not only just a musician, but he was a leader, he was confident, he was all these things that, you know, many parents of kids with autism want their kid to be. He was that when he was in his element, which is music. And so I figured that there were many more people with autism who that was their element. And I mean, I have a background in music, so I'm already kind of biased towards music anyway.
Right.
And so and not only that, music is also the it's the universal language. Yeah. It's the one thing that kind of levels the playing field. And research shows that music, people with autism have emphatic responses to music, not only with expression but also communication. So if music has all these benefits and they already have an interest in music, why can't that be the avenue through which they become contributing members of society? And so that's kind of what that was my idea, and our board came together, and then now we're doing what we're doing. We actually recently launched a program called the Jazz Hands Musicians Academy. So, and that was launched last September. And what that program is for, it's a vocational program and a job placement. So not only do we teach you like on-stage skills, we teach you all the peripheral skills like life skills, job skills, social skills, and you're able to take that and go into a job placement where you're performing and working as a musician and making money. So not only do we provide the training in that academy, but we also provide a place where you can actually put that training into work and make money and be fulfilled and be a fulfilled individual. So yeah.
And you just have no passion whatsoever. I mean, and we've had many people that are on the show that have kids that are part of Jazz Hands, and everybody talks about how you bring your spirit to this, and clearly, you know, I don't know if you take a breath that isn't filled with passion, right? Which is like one of the ultimate compliments I can give an individual. You have a light about you and you bring that to this. And the families all love you. Which is a great thing. You're doing a great service. And I remember, I think it's got to have been at least 2.5, 3 years since we had you on the show, and you were in your early days of getting things done, and you had big ideas, and I was like, this young woman with these big ideas, I hope she does well. And you know, I know I'm crying, you're crying, but you've brought it to fruition and are making a difference. Now, people might be watching though and think, well, I don't know if my kid is talented enough to have a job as a musician. Is there a place for them at Jazz Hands? Is it just people who are stellar and savants at music, or is it for more than that?
So we do have a place for them at Jazz Hands.
I do have tissues because we all cry on this show. I need to mop down too. But it's emotional. I mean, you know, when you make a way, look, let's be honest about this. As an autism mom, I was like thrust into this arena. I didn't really have a choice. But once I was in this arena, I was like, you know, not only am I going to make a difference with my kid, but hopefully I'm going to make a difference with other people. But whenever I see somebody who is young and talented, who chooses this of their own volition, I'm in awe. And you not only chose this, but you chose it in such a big way. Let's be honest. Now, see, we're all crying. But it's a great thing, and you're making a big difference. You really, really are. All right. I'm going to suck it up and get it together. All right. But, okay, so back to my question. For people who maybe they're not sure if their kid is as talented as some of the people that they see, because sometimes we see somebody and there is the word savant and people go, oh, well, that person has particular talents. I'm not sure if my kid, would Jazz Hands be something for them as well?
Yeah, so we do have a place for them at Jazz Hands. At our concert is not just for people who are just like, you know, veteran musicians. It's for a place where if you want to explore that talent, we give you a stage and a supportive audience where you can do that. And from there, your confidence begins to build. And if you want to pursue music, we do have partners that do provide music lessons. So anybody, I believe that anybody can learn anything, really. I mean, that maybe people may not agree with that, but I truly believe that everyone is teachable. Everyone can learn everything.
We're showing some pictures right now of concerts that you guys have done before in the past. Very well attended, very moving.
It's always so fun. It's, oh my God, I love, the concerts are just so cool, you know. But so there is a place for them, you know. Our stage is open for anybody who's passionate about music and wants to explore that. So we provide a stage for that. Prior to that, we do have some rehearsals to make sure that they're having the best performance that they can have. We don't just thrust them in and be like, hey, do whatever you want. We help them kind of, you know, at least kind of craft their performance as best as we can in our rehearsals. And then we give them a stage. And if they discover that this is something that they want to do, there's training for that. So they get the training. We don't teach them. We don't teach music. We just teach all the other skills, the onstage skills, and the other like job skills and life skills.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Because they can't be successful without that.
Yes.
It's kind of brilliant, right?
Yeah.
But important to know. But you have partners, so that if they want to be able to take music, that you can help them to be able to figure out who can do that part of it.
Yes. So yeah, we're currently finalizing the many of those partnerships. So our goal is to partner with different music schools in different areas. So that if we don't just want to partner with a school in Torrance, and if you live in Highland Park, you can't get there. We want to partner with a music school in Highland Park or Boyle Heights. We want to partner with a school in the South Bay, on the West Side, so that if you're in any of those areas, you can get access to those schools through our referral.
Love it. Okay, so you have these cards here for me
Yes.
About the Jazz Hands Musicians Academy and about the concert series. Let's talk a little bit about the Musicians Academy first. I see here that it is for ages 18 and up, which I think is a really lovely thing because we don't have enough for people in that age range. So for people looking for something for 18 and up, eligibility is also autism or Asperger diagnosis, and a 1 to 2 year background in a preferred instrument and the ability to communicate. That doesn't necessarily mean speech, but they have to have functional communication, which we say on this show, if that's not in place, that's the first thing that anybody has to work on because that's what opens up your world to everything. So you can take nonverbal as long as there is functional communication. I love that we have specified this because quite honestly, there are some people who have kids that are a little bit older that they didn't get on that bandwagon of functional communication and they're not sure now whether that really is something, and I want to scream, cry, and yell and throw things and say to them, no, that's important. That's the first step before anything. Before you can get to all the good stuff, you have to have that. And I mean all the good stuff. Being able to order a baked potato, being able to say my leg hurts, being able to say I'm in pain, I need water, all of that. It's a right for everyone, and absolutely, as you said, everybody can be taught functional communication. It just takes longer sometimes, but it can be done. Okay, so there is a cost associated with the academy. And you are currently attempting to become a vendor with the regional center.
Yes, so we are currently in the process of being vendor by Westside Regional Center, and so and we're like in the kind of the last phases of that. So regional center funding will be available soon in the near future. And so if you have a child who is autistic and wants to pursue music as a career, that option is available, especially if you are eligible for regional center funding.
Okay, but until then, there is it's a relatively small fee for those of you who your child isn't going to college and you're looking for something. This is much less expensive than going to college, and hopefully
significantly
less. The price is $64.96 per day. If we were to figure out how much college is a day, we would all be sick and never send our children to college ever again. But $64.96, which is a very specific number.
So actually, that number has actually gone down. We've been able to bring that number down, so it's actually about $50 a day.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like it's so specific. I can't even talk today. The number here, I was like, boy, you made sure that you're not charging a penny more than you have to. And that there are so many things that can be worked on. We really want to encourage people. So you go to jazzhandsforautism.org to find out more information
about everything.
About anything, but in particular, the Musicians Academy.
Yes.
And you've got so many different program features there to get them job ready.
Yes.
To be able to, because for parents who have somebody who's particularly interested in being a performer, sometimes parents poo-poo that and say, I don't see how that could ever happen. Maybe you see a little bit of talent, but you think, they're never going to be able to be on. Send them to Jazz Hands, okay?
We'll show you.
Okay, but for people who want to participate in the concert series, because that you can have kiddos that are younger, correct? What's
all
the
ages.
youngest? Any age?
Yeah, I mean, well, the youngest that we've had so far has been 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't really have an age limit for that. Yeah.
Okay, and the cost for that
is free. So it's free to participate at the concert. You don't have to pay anything to participate at the concert.
Okay, and that has some rehearsals that lead up to it. What a wonderful opportunity. Where are you based out of? So if somebody is like, well, I'm in Southern California, but I live a little ways out, when you have your rehearsals, or each one of your performances in a different place, I sort of feel like that's the case.
So we right now our concerts are based in Eagle Rock. We kind of planted in Eagle Rock.
Okay.
But our rehearsals are usually in Culver City.
Okay.
They're in Culver City, and they take place during our bi-weekly jam sessions, which is a part of the academy.
Okay.
So those are the jam sessions are open for all musicians to come and jam together so that they can learn how to perform alongside other musicians.
Love it.
And so that's where we're based out of. The academy is also based out of the West Side. We are very community based and very experiential learning based. So we utilize different facilities, but our main facilities are in Culver City and Santa Monica.
Okay, and you have here for eligibility autism diagnosis diagnosis, a passion for music, and a desire to perform.
Yes.
And I think that's really important because some people do want to perform, you know, and this is everybody, whether you're on the spectrum or not. Some people do want to perform and other people are like, no, thank you. That sounds like horribleness to me. And you don't want to be, like, the parent might want the child to perform, but if the child isn't interested in performing, this is not the thing for them.
Right.
But the great thing is that many of our kids are interested in performing. And honestly, you know, we've talked about the musical aspect of this and about getting you confidence, self-esteem, and job ready, but we haven't really talked about the social component that is delivered through this. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
So I'm just gonna like highlight a few ways that socialization is kind of built into both of our programs. In the concert series, during the rehearsals, you can choose to perform alongside another musician, especially when the child is in an environment where that's already taking place. They kind of we've seen that they kind of just jump into that. They want to be a part of the entire arrangement. They want the piano players to play, and then they want to sing over the piano. And so that part, it organically, it's a very organic way to encourage socialization. And then performing on stage, as they receive that feedback from the audience, they're building their confidence, so they're able to say, you know, be more of who they are. They're able to, you know, kind of break out a little bit and be able to, you know, speak to them. You know, for example, if we both understand music, that's a platform for us to discuss. Yes. So even if we didn't have anything to talk about before, if you tell me, oh, what chord was that? Oh, that was an A chord. Oh my God, you know, I know this other song that was an A chord and it was transposed, and now you have an entire conversation.
It's a whole other language.
It's a whole other language.
And a way to connect.
It's a way to connect, and so our programs encourage that. They encourage that, and they promote socialization, not only just in the concert, but also in the academy through our jam sessions.
It's a really lovely thing, and you can see that the way the talent is developed. And I've gotten you in the past. You have done. There's been a live feed sometimes from the concerts. And I've been able to watch live feed, and so amazing. In fact, we have a video that we want to show of somebody performing. Set up the clip for us. Tell us who we're going to see.
So this is Alex Hale. He performed at our second concert. That was in 2014. That was so long ago. 2014. Alex Hale comes from the Midwest, I believe Ohio, and we flew him out here to perform because we really loved his music. He's a singer-songwriter. He writes all his own music. And here he goes. This is one of his songs that he wrote, and it's original.
Love it. And here, take a look.
I'm a traveler in the darkness on the road that has no bounds. Like a missing puzzle piece, jumbled thoughts and sights and sounds. If I only knew the magic like a spell magician say, to clear away the clouds of doubt, so I can find my way into the light, so my spirit can fly free, where I can finally tame at last the storm inside of me, unlocking every mystery, till I win this furious fight and step out of the darkness into the light.
We've had Alex on the show before.
Yeah, cool.
And he's really remarkable. His mom's a cool lady too. Yeah. And he is somebody who was determined to perform. He was doing the national anthem, and he was trying to do it in a lot of different places, and reached out to us and said, you know, I'm you know, trying to get more publicity around the fact that I'm trying to do this, and we were thrilled to have him on the show. And he's determined. This is, when you talk to him, it's in his soul, the same way it would be in anybody who is a born performer. And I think that too often I think society discounts and thinks if there is an ability in all areas, then you must not have ability in these specific areas. And that's a disservice to all of us. We need these performers in our society to be performing and have the opportunity to. And we need to be able to make sure that people who are on the autism spectrum have the support to be able to get jobs in whatever field that it's
Yes.
in. You know, we talk a lot about how there are people who are interested in computers and how those industries have to make a way for those people to perform. But I love that you're doing that in this very specific field with music. You're a very special young woman.
Thank you.
What else have we not told them? We want to tell them again about the event on the
Yes.
27th.
On the 27th of May, it's next Saturday, and it's going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we do have a reception. You can have lemonade and cookies and all this fun stuff from 4 to 5, but the concert takes place from 2 to 4. It's at the GLAD Auditorium, which is 2222 Laverna Avenue, Los Angeles, California 90041. But all that information can be found on our website, which is jazzhandsforautism.org.
And, you know, it's free, but we should say that all of this comes at a cost.
Yes.
And so you do rely upon the kindness of donations and corporations and donating. And so when you do go to the concert, and it's free, but if there will be an opportunity for you to donate at the event.
Yes, there will. There will be an opportunity, yes.
And if people want to donate and aren't, because we are all over the world, and so if people are not going to be in the Eagle Rock area on the 27th and they want to donate, where they still go to Jazz Hands?
Yes, so at the top right corner of our website, you can find the donate link. And you can just click it, and it's really, really easy to just support our
Jazz
mission.
Hands for Autism, and we're spelling out for FOR,
F-O-R, yes.
autism.org. And you
Yes.
are a 501c3,
We are.
so
all donations are tax deductible.
We love that. Now, what about, do you ever take donations of old instruments, that if people have instruments
Yes, actually,
to donate?
so really cool. Recently, we received a donation from Crenshaw Pianos. They gave us a Wurlitzer upright piano.
Love
and,
it.
And now we can utilize that for our concerts and make sure we always have a piano to provide. We've also received donations of drums and equipment from families of the musicians. And we recently also got a grant from Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council to purchase equipment so that we can have like on-the-go shows. So our partnership with Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council is to put on a 6-part gig series at the Eagle Rock Farmers Market. So if you come every month, we will be at the Eagle Rock Farmers Market, and you'll see some of our musicians performing.
That's lovely. Yeah. What day is their farmers market?
It's usually on Fridays, and the plan that we have with the farmers market is we're going to be always doing a performance the Friday before a big event. So this month it was Mother's Day.
Okay.
We had one on May 12th. Next one is Father's Day. Next one is around 4th of July. So our performance the Friday before a big event or after a big event or a national holiday is is the days that we will be at the Eagle Rock Farmers Market.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Jazz Hands, and go to Jazz Hands for Autism, FOR autism.com. Thank you so much for being here and for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Truly wonderful. We are going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with our mindfulness moment and to close out the show and talk a little bit more about our Corey Feldman event that's happening on Wednesday. Stick with us.
Nick was diagnosed with autism in 1994 at the age of 4. He received 5 years of therapy from CARD that eventually faded out. Nick recovered from autism in 2001.
The song I'm about to perform is by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. CARD helped many patients, myself, to recover to this level now.
Cheryl and Mike's son, Jack Riley, was diagnosed with autism in 2010 at age 2. He's been receiving therapy from CARD for a year and a half. Today, Cheryl, Mike, and Nick meet for the first time.
I'm curious as to what you remember.
I certainly remember pretty long sessions, and I'd be frustrated if I would make mistakes. I mean, I remember one time I had to count a row of 6 blocks, kept messing up. That was really difficult.
No.
I need it. I need it.
At what point do you recall hearing the word autism?
I was able to figure out what I was going through without anybody having to tell me.
Our concern is if it's a big secret to hide. I don't know what we can say.
No one ever told you, you just discerned
But the
it?
reason I'm comfortable talking about this is because I felt it. In therapy, I certainly began questioning why people reacted as they did based on what I said and did. Particularly because of difficulties I was facing in school. It got to a point where I wanted to understand why it was. So I entered while still going through therapy and still showing significant signs of the mental condition. Even after I'd improved to a significant extent, there were those who still gave me a hard time for it.
Did it hurt your feelings when you were in school, the way that kids...
Oh, absolutely, because it was bullying, it was harassment.
That scares us.
They called me names. I was basically, when it came to sports and PE, I was usually the last kid chosen.
Did teachers intervene?
Fortunately, not really. I mean, it was just so hard for me to talk about it because of how ashamed I felt. Certainly the first few years of elementary school, I don't think I really had the most supportive teachers. I mean, I remember my mom told me how my first grade teacher once said that she thought I had no chance of getting anywhere. And going away to college and out of state and being the only person for my old school district has made a difference. It's just really improved my social life tremendously because I got to be me, because with nobody knowing about my past, I wasn't faced with these misconceptions and prejudgments.
Do you tell people, new people that you meet?
No, that's not the first thing I will ever
No, I would
tell.
hope it's not the
And
first thing.
you know what? In most cases, I never do, because while it's a part of my past, it doesn't define who I am. I mean, just thinking back to the very beginning, pretty much each episode, autism, what, not who.
I want to tell you right now, though, I'm so impressed with you.
Likewise.
I want you to know that.
Likewise. I mean, your son really inspires me just as much because I'll tell you anytime.
I adore him, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't challenging.
I mean,
it's cost me the stuff that like career things, goals. I don't care about those anymore. I work at night. I'm tending bar. Not that I'm too good for that. I'm just saying that's what I do. I want him to have a chance.
Right.
And you inspire me now.
Thank you. The feeling goes both ways. The feeling's mutual.
Before you leave today, we would like you to meet Jack.
I would love to.
This is Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Jack Riley.
All right, should we try this? I'm gonna try to take a picture of all of you. 1, 2, and 3.
Jack Riley, you rock.
Live. We're trying to get Ifunanya out of the studio. So let me say this really quick, and then we'll take it. Do you have something that you can play that's a really short break and we can get her out? Because we have sat here and had such a good time chatting. I want to remind everybody that next Wednesday, we're going to be doing our live show with Dr. Doreen Grampiche. Then we're going to do a short version of Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. Then we're going to be going off the air for about 40 minutes to prepare for going going live again at noon for the Corey Feldman event. It's called Corey's Autism Angels. Corey Feldman and his wife Courtney are going to be here. They're hosting a 4-hour telethon right here with live performances, celebrities that are going to be here and performing because we're raising money for autism care and treatment today. You can find out more information by going to act-today.org, but remember, here at noon next Wednesday, 4 hours, a marathon telethon, never been done before. It's going to be fun, 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 and it's got a purpose to raise money for those grants for all kinds of things, including grants for people to be able to take lessons in the arts, to be able to, the kinds of things that we've been talking about this whole show. So we're going to add functional communication, assistive technology, all those different things. So we're going to take a really short break, and then I'm going to come back and do our mindfulness moment. Stick with us. Sorry. Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, and we're at the ABCs and XYZs of Special Needs Conference. And this year, for the first time, they've got something really remarkable. It's the Entrepreneurial Boutique. These are all items that have been made and are being sold by individuals who have special needs. So we're going to do a little shopping and talk to some of these fabulous entrepreneurs. Come on.
My name is Molly Rarick, and I'm founder of Breed's Gift. We're a nonprofit that serves teens and adults with special needs, like Chase here. We were founded in 2013 and serve people in the Conejo Valley, Santa Barbara, and LA.
Our main objective is to give our participants the skills they need to gain a more independent life.
My name is Shelley Cox, and Lisa Zalagi and I are founders of Creative Steps and Create Micro Business Enterprises. And the items that we're selling here today are all made by the clients who have passions about what they want to make, and then they get the profits from what they make after we've paid all of the other expenses.
We are here today because my goal is to be independent, and also I would like to share all my artwork, and I would like to sell.
Thinking about at his young age being a businessman, it's amazing. I cannot be more proud.
Welcome back. It is time for our promised mindfulness moment on Thursdays. This is a time when we talk about something that can help us to be more present, because we know that this is what helps with stress. This is a stressful gig, life, isn't it? For everyone, for absolutely everyone. But for those of us in the autism community, whatever our concerns or issues, there is often more stress. It has been likened to the stress that soldiers experience coming back from combat. That's a real scientific study that showed that for people in a family where there is autism, that is what it presents as. So we have to do everything that we can to help ourselves to reduce as much stress as possible so we can live longer, be happier, so on and so forth. So today I wanted to talk specifically about being able to have something that we do for leisure. There is a saying about how long can you spend with yourself, by yourself, and that is a direct, it's directly in proportion to how relaxed you are. So let's take that apart for a second. Can you be by yourself, with yourself, by yourself, and for how long? And this means with yourself, by yourself, with no other external distractions. Are you capable of being by yourself for 10 minutes with no phone, no television, nothing to fidget with? We all love those little fidgets, they're great. Are you able to just sit and be by yourself? This doesn't necessarily mean meditating, but can you be by yourself with your own thoughts for 10 minutes? The truth is that like every other skill that we talk about on this show, it's a muscle, being able to be by yourself. So if you can't do it for 10 minutes, don't beat yourself up about it, but ask yourself, can you do that for 1 minute? It's super duper important for our brains and our bodies to have time to reset. This isn't just time that you spend when you lay down and go to sleep, by the way. Can you take a minute a day and just be? And part of, we tend to want to have something to concentrate on, especially if you're experiencing a lot of anxiety. So try focusing on just your breath. We say on the show, 3 deep breaths can change everything. So maybe start with 3 deep breaths to see, can I just be by myself with myself for that period of time, and then try to go longer. You can set a timer so that you know when the time is up and you don't have to keep checking your clock to do that. That's a great precursor, but we also have to make sure that you have something leisure that you enjoy. And that can involve listening to music. That can involve hitting a golf ball. But we all have to have something that's separate and to the side, and that doesn't have to do with autism and doesn't have to do with whatever it is that we do for gainful employment. Something that is leisure. And once we have that, then we can teach that to our kiddos. All individuals who are on the autism spectrum need to have access to and have skills at leisure activities. For some people, that might be running. For others, that might be playing the piano. Somebody could be singing. Somebody else could be designing a program on the computer. But that period of time in which your brain can shift over to the right side, where time flies by and you don't even know that it's going. Speaking of which, we are pretty much out of time. I want to remind you, next Wednesday, we are back here live. Ask Dr. Doreen, a little bit of Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy, and then it's, all the stops pulled out. Corey's Autism Angels. Make sure you join us for that. I guarantee you it's going to be worth watching. Until then, I want to say to you, have a really wonderful weekend. Look at your transitions, spend some time with yourself, and remember to give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you as well. Bye-bye for now.